welcome to the P-BVU Distant Learning Training Part 3. Today we'll be jumping into facilitating student engagement in distant learning. We value your time and are excited to work with you again. This session is being recorded and videos can be found on the P-BVU YouTube channel. We'll be covering a lot today, so if you're feeling overwhelmed, please reach out to a colleague for support and refer back to the agenda that has multiple links in it and also any of the recordings of these sessions. In the next 45 minutes, we will give you an overview of information and a small amount of time to apply the skills you've learned. We will be moving fast, but you can go back and review the resources you need on the participants' agenda. I want to introduce everyone again today. Dr. Jason Hodgson is the Director of Professional Development. Shelley Tiffin is our Instructional Services Coordinator. And the three TOSAs are Shannon Zimmerman. Shannon, give a wave. And Hans Tallman, as he's taking the last sip from lunch. And then myself, Jill Fetters. And we'll go on to the Zoom norms that you've been seeing all week, but we just want to kind of refresh them for you. You've been doing a great job by keeping your mics muted and your video off. This really helps with to limit distractions and help with the connectivity. Find all the links and resources in today's agenda. You've posted some great questions on the Q&A document. Just make sure to highlight the question and tag a support team member's email. Questions in the chat don't get saved. So the Q&A document ensures that we answer all your questions during and after this session. We will keep checking in the chat for questions, and we also will look at the Q&A document, but we're going to hold off to the end of this section to give you more time to do the task today. Hans, I'm going to pass it over to you.
Thank you, Jill, and thank you to everyone who has been giving us feedback in the feedback survey. We've been looking at all of your suggestions and making adjustments so that your professional development is meeting your needs. Here's some changes we've made based on your feedback. We've slowed down our pace. We're centralizing all resources on the agenda. We're sharing the agenda in the waiting room and hopefully get the correct link. We will give you instructions a second time to actually walk you through step-by-step for support. We've included more pre-made exemplars so you don't have to start from scratch. And I made my cursor bigger just for you guys. We'll continue to do our best to change what we can based on your feedback. So thanks for taking the time to do that. The agenda is where we're going to find all of the resources for today's session. Many participants have been asking how can they find access to this information and previous agendas. Until we have a centralized hub, you can always add a shortcut to your drive. Here's how you do it. First, you open today's agenda. Then on the left side, you're going to click File and then scroll down and look for Add a shortcut to Drive. Once you click on that, you select what folder you want to save it in. If you don't have a distance learning folder, you can always create one with the little new folder icon. And then you click Add to that folder. So I'm going to give you some time to do that as I show the instructions one more time. So for those of you who want to add a shortcut, this is how you do it. I'm going to slow it down. You open your agenda. Then you click on File in the top left corner, excuse me. Then you scroll down and look for right in the middle where it says Add Shortcut to Drive. Click on that. Then you're going to select a folder in your drive where you would like to put this shortcut to this agenda. If you want to, you can click the New Folder button to make a new folder. And as you find resources, this is a great tip to use for saving things to find later. And I'm going to pass it back over to Shannon.
All right, thanks, Hans. So here are our objectives for today. We are going to briefly review the pillars of distance learning. We're going to post links to interactive websites that promote student engagement, provide multiple means of representation through multimedia text sets, and due to time limitations, we will, in session 4, provide examples of video feedback to students. Last week, we introduced you to P-BVUSD Pillars of Distance Learning to prepare you for day 1. Pillar 1 is communication and connection. You generated a Google Meet link for your video session, drafted a parent message, prepared a Google form to gather family information, brainstormed your distance learning protocols, and learned more about Google Meet. Pillar 2 is managing distance learning. You've gotten some support in this area with your Canvas trainings. And that brings us to Pillar 3. Our focus for this week, to facilitate student engagement, we will need to look at research-based best practices in this new learning environment. Crafted learning experiences that have included interaction, exploration, relevance, multimedia, feedback, and challenge will maximize student engagement. Today, we will learn how to facilitate student engagement by posting interactive websites, providing multiple means of representation through a multimedia text set. And Hans is going to talk about that. Back to you, Hans.
Thanks, Shannon. So the UDL framework shows that multiple means of representation is the what of learning. In other words, it's the content that the students are going to learn. This means you offer alternatives for auditory information, what students hear, offer alternative to visual information, and illustrate through multiple medias. So why should you let your students choose how they learn? Well, research shows that giving students choice increases student motivation and engagement. UDL is a framework, and it stands for Universal Design for Learning. And it's a framework found in our California frameworks for all content areas. EdTech and UDL work together to help meet the needs of all students. There are multiple ways that students can learn content, build background information, and explore the knowledge and skills under study. In UDL, students have a choice of which methods they will use to learn. So here's what we're going to do for our task 1. We're going to give you 5 minutes to explore a folder of multimedia text sets. As you're looking in this folder, look for multiple means of representations in these examples, such as auditory and video files, visual manipulatives, comic strips, book reading, and interactive links. And also, how are teachers offering student choice? Here's how you get to the folder. First, you go to your agenda. Then you're going to scroll down to item 4, looking for task 1. Then you're going to open the multimedia text set examples folder. A little pop-up or preview will show up below that, and you just click on that to open. Wow, look at all these files. All of these are examples of MTS, or multimedia text sets. Now, in order to look through these, you're going to double click on any file. Like I'm going to click on this George Washington one. And then I can explore this and see how this teacher is using multiple means of representation in student choice. Now, don't forget about that adding a shortcut to your drive trick that I taught you. And also a pro tip for our pro users, if you wanted to add this whole folder as a shortcut, you could totally do that. Now we're going to give you 5 minutes to explore this folder, looking for multiple means of representation and student choice. I'm going to start the timer, but now I'm going to go through those directions I just gave a lot more slowly. So if you're following along with me, I'm going to give you a few seconds to open your agenda today, and it should also be in your chat. Give you a few more seconds to get to your agenda. All right. If you're using a Chromebook or a trackpad, you can use 2 fingers to lightly scroll down. You're looking for item 4, task 1. I'm going to zoom in so you guys can see this a little better. See those blue words that are underlined that say Multimedia Tech Set Lesson Examples folder? Click on that. Right below that, you're going to click on Multimedia Tech Set Examples. And now you're in the folder. So in order to explore these, you're going to double click on any of these. Look at some ideas of how teachers are using multiple means of representation. I see a video here, an audio there, and other cool things. When you're done looking at a slide or a resource, just click that little X and then you're back to the folder. All right, we're gonna give you guys about 3.5 more minutes to explore. And you may continue. I'm gonna play a little bit of music. All right, about 2.5 more minutes to explore. Can you hear the music now, Ben?
Nope.
Activate the dance floor lighting, please.
Activate. Thanks, Dusty. Let me know if it's too loud. So if you wanted to find that multimedia or the multimedia tech set examples folder, you'd want to go to your agenda, scroll down, look at item number 4, and the link is there. I can drop that in the chat for you. 30 more seconds. All right, time's up. I'm gonna pass the mic over to Shannon and turn off the music.
All right, now that you guys have had a few minutes to kind of explore and look at all of those different multimedia tech set lessons, I want you guys to think about a takeaway that you had from that. So let's give you 30 seconds in the chat and reply on what you got, what you noticed, what kind of stuck out to you, or what kind of multiple means of representation that you saw. Put it in the chat. Like, what did you like? What do you think you can use? 30 seconds. Tic-tac-toe board, nice. HyperDoc with links and videos and sounds. Yes. Definitely like the tic-tac-toe, that's good. We're gonna be looking at it again later this week. Choice words, choice words. How students have choices, great. The learn about digraphs, I love that one. I love that one. I made that like years ago when I was working in first grade. The kids loved it. Materials organized, videos, sounds, research. That's awesome, you guys. All right, well, after looking at the chat, it looks like there's a lot of great ideas that you guys were enjoying some of those examples. I mean, don't you think that students will be more engaged by showing them options on how they can learn or giving them options? Multimedia text sets may be a new term that you haven't heard before. A multimedia text set, or MTS, is a set of different forms of media surrounding a common topic, standard, theme, or concept. A multimedia text set is reflective of text of today's world that students use on the internet, Facebook, Twitter, in that it incorporates print or text, video, music, internet sources, images, photographs, cartoons, etc. There's a lot of things, a lot of different kinds of media. Students need to be taught how to read the different forms of these texts, synthesize information, and develop an opinion of their own, which they can back up with evidence. Your next task is to choose and remix a multimedia text set lesson so your students can show how they would like to learn. For our intermediates and advanced technology participants, we are going to create 3 breakout rooms. You just need to add your grade number at the beginning of your Zoom name, and we'll break you out by grade level cluster. Go ahead and take 20 seconds to add your grade level number now. Now, if you would like more support and you want to hang back and have a guided practice with Hans, stay in the main Zoom room. Otherwise, if we see a number at the front of your name, we're going to put you into a breakout room for about 15 minutes to work. So to do this, click on the participants button at the bottom, and then you will find your name, hover over it, and you're going to see 2 menus pop up. Pull down the More menu, and then you'll see where you can rename yourself. So again, rename yourself, put your grade number at the beginning of your name so we can easily put you with like colleagues. If you feel like joining a breakout room, feel free to unmute your mic, share your screen, and collaborate, and just start working on your multimedia text set lesson. Newbie technology participants, you can stay back here with us in the meeting for guided practice. You will have 15 minutes to get started on remixing your multimedia text set. Later this week, you might have an opportunity to share your work with colleagues. All right, before you go, there is some resources for you on this slide, on slide 76. It's also in your agenda. You can find this. These resources you can use in building multimedia text sets. So there's like free images, lots of image sites, audio, and video sources that you can use in your creation. All right, so just for clarification, everyone will be using a multimedia text set example folder to make a copy and remix a lesson for their students. Does anyone have any questions about what we're going to be doing for the next 15 minutes? I'm noticing that a lot of people are putting their grade level in their chat. That's not going to help us. You need to actually change the name, change your name the way it presents in Zoom. So if you're looking at all the Zoom people, you can see everybody's name. Notice that you can start seeing some people with numbers ahead in front of that. So what you can do is click on participants at the bottom of your Zoom, find your name, hover over it. You're going to be looking for a blue button that says More. and it's a pull down, and that's how you rename yourself. So if you put your grade level in the chat box, you might not get into a breakout session. So make sure that you do it the other way. Looks like we have a question.
Also, you must accept to be in the breakout room. You'll be invited. Make sure that you accept, and then you can go into the breakout room.
Also, if you're a newbie, don't put any number at the front of your name, and you'll be staying here with me, and I'm going to go through these steps really slowly.
Thanks, guys. One quick question that I see here is, can you explain what you mean by remix? So we've offered, like in the folder, some templates that you can use. And if you open up, you're going to see it labeled template. There's nothing inside the boxes. So that would be starting from scratch, right? But most of them are examples. But if you like the template of something, but you want to change the stuff inside of it, that's how you can remix it up. Or maybe you like parts of it, but you want to change something. So you can either keep it the way it is if it works for your grade level, or use a template that doesn't work for your grade level and just erase the stuff in the boxes. And that way you can customize it for your own personal needs for your students. So that's what we mean by remix. All right, I think that's we're ready to go. So, okay, newbies, if we need, oh, we're gonna wait. All right, guys, goodbye, intermediates and advanced. We are gonna pull you back in 15 minutes. Okay, newbies, stay right here with us. See you guys later.
All right. So, see you later, intermediates and advanced. See you in 15 minutes. Newbies, you're hanging out here with me, because first we need to have you make a copy of a sample template. So that you can use with your students. I'm going to show you with I do, we do, and then you do. So first, I want to copy a multimedia text set to remix or change to make the learning appropriate for my students. So first, I'm going to do this. So open up, in a minute, you're going to open up your agenda. I'm going to go through this 2 times. You're going to scroll down to item 5, task 2, and you're going to click on that same folder that we explored earlier. So click on that folder in the agenda and then open it up. Once you're in that folder, you're going to be looking for that asterisk star task 2 Google Doc, or excuse me, Google slide. The way you open it is you double click it. So click, click, and then it opens. Now, I want to make sure all of you can get to this screen where I'm at. So I'm going to go over these steps again, nice and slow. Let's slow it down. All right, let's back up a bit. Okay, I'm going to give you a few seconds to open your agenda. All right, once you're on your agenda, you're going to use 2 fingers on your trackpad to lightly caress and scroll down on your trackpad until you get to item 5. And then look for task 2. See those blue words that are underlined? Multimedia text set lesson examples folder. Click on that guy. Click. It's going to open in a new tab. And there's all of those different resources you explored, but I only want you to look for the asterisk star task 2. It's at the top of mine. You're going to double click to open it. All right. Now I'm going to give you the next steps. And what we're going to do is we're going to make a copy of this so it lands in your drive so that you can edit it and make it how it's going to work best for your students. So what we're going to do is you are going to look at the top left of your screen where it says File on that menu bar. Then you're going to scroll down and click Make a Copy. Should we make a copy of the entire presentation or the selected slides? Let's do the entire presentation. Then you'll have this little window pop up where we can rename it. I'm going to call this Multimedia Text Set Practice. And then for the folder, well, I don't want it in that same folder that everyone has access to. In fact, you wouldn't have permission to do that. So I'm gonna click on that folder, click the back arrow, and choose a folder in my drive. And again, if you needed to create a folder, there's a little new folder icon right there in the corner. You would choose your folder, click select, and then press OK. So go ahead and make a copy of this slideshow. Now, if you need me to go over that again, here we go. You should be on this slide, the star task 2 slide. At the top left, look for File. I'll give you a few seconds to get there. File at the top left, then go down to
Hans,
make a copy. Yes.
Hans, I just need to ask, is anybody else getting the docs? Because I'm only getting from both links, so they're exactly the same. It's only the slides. I'm not getting any doc links.
Are you
it doesn't
opening?
list the document.
Well, I guess, so you're saying that you don't see any docs in here?
Correct. Correct.
Interesting.
Each link is the same, and I opened it up from the beginning because sometimes it glitches, and it's giving me task 1 and task 2. Both are slides. They're all pictures. I don't have a word list. I don't have a doc list. Is anybody else getting that?
Oh, so I think you're looking at your view type, like I'm in list view, but if you click on this thing in your drive on the right, it'll go to this. Is that what you're seeing?
Yes. So sorry, do that again.
So in your drive on the right top over here, you'll see list view or grid view. You can click back and forth. I prefer list view. I'm team list view all the way. Or if you're team grid view, you make it look like blocks. So it's whatever works best for you, Michelle. But you should be on task 2, making a copy. And I think we went to File, make a copy, entire presentation. Task 2 isn't loading. Let me drop that in there, Cynthia. I'm going to drop the direct link to task 2. Thank you, Dale. Let me see if I can slow down a little bit. Yeah, Heidi, we'll get you into that breakout room. Let me get my people on that. All right. So the directions for making a copy, you click on File at the top left of your Google slide. You go down to add a short, or no, you go down to make a copy. And then you choose entire presentation. And then click entire presentation. Now you're going to rename your document. I'm going to call mine Multimedia Text Set Practice. And then in the folder, you would click on that folder button. Use the back arrow to find your drive. And then go over into your drive with that arrow on the right. And then select or create a folder where you want this copy to land. And then press OK. All right, so hopefully you've had a chance to make your very own copy. But now that you've made a copy, there's a few things that we're going to do before we run out of time. We're going to give you a chance to explore the insert menu. I'm going to show you how to insert a video. We're going to look at how to copy a website link and insert that link as a hyperlink into words, images, or shapes. That's usually about how far we get. So first, in your new copied task 2 Google slide, I want you to look at the top left corner, and next to file, if you go over to the right, look for the insert menu. It's on that list of menus at the very top left. And look at all the things you can insert into this Google slide. You can insert an image, a text box, audio, video. If you select shape, you can go over and choose all sorts of shapes or arrows or callouts or equations. You can insert a table and choose how big you want that to be. You can insert a chart. You can insert a diagram or word art. You can insert a line, a comment, a new slide, or slide numbers. So I just want you to know where to find that menu. So I'm going to give you about 20 seconds to find that insert menu and just see what options that you have. I want to make sure you can find that for our next task. So 20 seconds. So newbies, how's this pace going for you? You can drop it in the chat. Thanks, Luke. We'll take it nice and slow. Awesome, Katie. Thanks. Thank you, Kurt. Thank you, Robert. Good, Sarah. I hear you. And for those of you guys who are working from home, you can always check your internet speed with fast.com to see if you're getting the speed that you're paying for. Welcome back, Dale. What we're going to do next is we're going to practice inserting a video. So look at on the left side of our slide. See how we're automatically on slide 1? This is kind of the example of what you could do. But click on slide 2. I'm going to delete that. There's a place for us to watch, and let's practice inserting a video. I'm going to go through this 2 times. To insert a video, you click on the insert menu, go to video, and then you're going to type in a video that you want to insert. Since we have some science people, I'm going to type science for kids, even though it's probably better to be topic specific, but we will go with this. I'm going to click on that video. If you click on the left side, you can preview that video. And if you find one that you like, then you click on select, and that video will be inserted. Now you may be thinking, wait, that's way too big. I don't want it that big. Well, what you can do is go to a corner, and your cursor or your little plus arrow thing will turn into a diagonal, probably on a Chromebook, like a 2-way arrow. That means you can change the size of this. So click on that corner, drag towards the center of the object, and then let go. Now to move the object, you put your cursor over it. When you see it turn into that plus sign with 4 arrows, that means you can click, drag, and drop that where you want it. So I'm going to give you guys about maybe 1.5 minutes to insert one video. For those of you who need those steps again, I'm going to go through it nice and slow. You should be in the slides that you made a copy of. You're going to click on Insert, the Insert menu at the top left. And then you're going to go down to the 4th item for video. Click Video. In the search bar, type in a topic that you would want your students to learn from. Like maybe, I'm going to be more specific, fossils. Now, if you just say fossils, you might get all sorts of things that aren't helpful. But if you type in fossils for kids, you might find a little more learning focused option. Maybe. I'm going to go with this one, and I can preview it to see if this is what I'm looking for. Make sure that you have your video selected and then click the blue select button. Do you remember how to change the size of a video? How to make it smaller? Mouse over one of those little blue square handles in the corner. And if you're trying to do it on the sides, at the top or the sides, watch what happens. Look at that crazy video. It's all smushed. So instead of changing, like smushing it down or making it fat or whatever, we want to grab the corner so it keeps that ratio aspect. And then place it where you want it. All right, hopefully you had a chance to insert that video. Our next step is we need to, under sing, we could find a song that's a video, so we're gonna skip that. For read, it says click here to read the book. But if you click there, nothing happens. That's because we haven't inserted a hyperlink. And we're gonna do that right now. To do that, I'm gonna show you the steps and then I'm gonna go through them again slowly. So open a new tab by pressing Control-T. Whoa, Control-T. I'm gonna go to Get Epic Books. And earlier, this is a really powerful resource to have kids read from. So once you find the book that you want, you click the address one time to select, but how do I copy it? Control what? Control C. Then I go back to my slides. I'm going to highlight that word here, and then I'm gonna go to Insert. I'm gonna go down to Link. How do I paste that link? Control what? Control V as in vampire. Control V and then apply. I went through that really fast, so let's slow it down. Nice. Thanks, Katie. All right, so first we're going to open a new tab because we got to go to a website. You can go to a website that you know would be helpful for your students' learning, or you can just Google Get Epic. Instead of exploring, I'm just going to click on this Adventure Kingdom, one of the books. So find the book that you're looking for, or find the website that you're looking for. It doesn't have to be Get Epic. It can be any place where you can read, or just to practice inserting this hyperlink. Once you have your website or your Get Epic book, you're going to click once on the address. For my technology ninjas, Control L will highlight that web address. After I highlight it, how do I copy that? Control C. And then how do I paste that? Well, first I have to highlight the word, which in itself is a little tricky. If you're having a difficult time with your cursor, your mouse, selecting where you want to put it, you can hold Shift while the cursor's there and use the arrows to highlight one letter at a time. Once your word is highlighted, you can click on Insert and Link. Oh, but right across from Link is the Technology Ninja's way of inserting a link, Control K. How do I paste that link? Control V for vampire. And Katie's wondering, do you have to highlight here, or can you just erase that whole sentence and drop the link? So if you wanted to drop the whole link, you could do that. The only problem is there's no instructions. There's a link there. You hope that junior high students can figure that out, but we find that inserting a link and directing them to here and kind of with what they need to do may be better. I don't know, you know your kids better, but it's also a little cleaner than that. You know what I mean? Like I could actually name the title of the book and hyperlink that. Sure. I mean, back in the olden days, we would just paste these ugly URLs everywhere and We just got used to it. Wow, can you believe that we are already done with our 15 minutes? If we had time, I'd show you guys how, well, I kind of show you how to enter. Yeah, we did that. We inserted those hyperlinks. Well, it's time to bring the people back. So I'm gonna pass this over to Jill, and we're just gonna bring these people back. I'm gonna play some music while we wait for them to join us.
Thanks, Hans. They'll be joining us in just a few seconds. And thanks for sharing all that information. That was a lot of information in a short amount of time. But the more you do it, the more comfortable that you get using all those same techniques that carry you from one tool to the next tool. Okay. We have a 2:15 that we're going to it's the end of the day for us. Okay. Okay, we've got a few seconds left. I'm hoping that this activity was very informative for you, and to start thinking about how you're going to be creating your lessons from during this digital time, and how the multimedia texts, they really work well with asynchronous sessions, so that your students, they learn by different modalities, that you offer them options in a very engaging way. We hope this helps with planning your lessons for next week and beyond. And then place any questions that you have in the chat or in the Q&A document, and we'll get answers for those as quickly as we can. We're providing our professional development to you, and also make sure that you fill out a sign out sheet. You can get credit for being here. We appreciate your work with this. Thank you.
All right, guys, you can say goodbye in the chat on your way out the door. Thanks for joining us today, and we will see you next time.
Thanks, guys. You're welcome for the templates.
I had a quick question.
You're welcome.
I had a question that didn't get answered.
Sure. Can we turn down the music a little bit?
On Google Meet, is it true that if you give the room a nickname, can't stay after you've left?
I don't think so. Hans, do you want to take this one? That's not the
Sure.
way that we're designing that, but I'm not sure about that.
So what you would want to do is you'd want to generate that Google Meet link from your Google Classroom, and it doesn't come with a nickname. So that's different than if you went to meet.google.com and just made one on the fly. That link would be less secure than the one generated in the Google Classroom. It doesn't have that. You need to have the teacher there in order for students to join feature.
Right, but can't they stay after?
So it's important right now until they update Google Meets for the teacher to make sure all of the students leave before the teacher closes that Google Meet link. So kick them all out. If they keep coming back, you just like give them a stern talking to, but make sure they're all gone, close it, and then they can't get back in until you reopen it again.
Okay, cool. All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Have a great day. All right, we're going to open up our next thing to the next group.
Wow, look at all those numbers coming in. Welcome, everybody.
All right, everyone, we're gonna give you less than 3 minutes. We're gonna give you about maybe 1 more minute. We're gonna drop in the agenda into the chat, and we would like you to go ahead and sign in. Hopefully you saw that in the Google Hang or in the waiting room. We're gonna get started in about 1 minute. Make sure you sign in on the agenda. It's in the chat. All right, you have about 13 seconds left to get to that agenda. Make sure that's open in your tab. Make sure that you've signed in, and we are gonna get started. I'm gonna go ahead. No, we're still recording.